Hello, my name is Peter. Welcome to the Don't Kill My App presentation. I would like to apologize for my colleague Jiří, who couldn't make it. He is the musically skilled guy here, and we usually have some song at the end of the presentation, and usually we do it with an electric guitar. But this time I have some exclusive music clip for you. But I'm very bad at singing, so I really need your help, right, to sing with me. I hope this will go well. So I will just quickly introduce myself. I'm the guy behind some of popular apps on the Play Store, for instance, Sleep as Android, which is the very first sleep tracking app on Android, Twilight, the very first blue light filter on Android, Digital Detox, which this app can give you the so much needed pause from your phone, so I highly recommend it. Or, I don't know, let's say Kinestop, which is an app which allows you to read in public transport and don't get travel sickness, for instance, and many more. These apps have more than 20 million downloads, and I'm doing this for 12 years. So I think I can really tell the story of Android from my perspective. So let me do it. Once upon a time, everything was awesome in the Android land. We had all these sweets, everything was yummy, these cupcakes, donuts, eclairs. And we had master builders, also known as app developers. Maybe I will ask you two questions here. Do you know the Lego movie? Who saw it? Okay, that's great. And who knows the Don't Kill My App project? Just to have some idea. Okay, less than the Lego movie, but quite close, quite close. Okay, great. So, master builders, of course, those were the creative guys in the Lego world, right? So, they could build anything they imagined, even a fancy double-decker couch. And one day they built it, and next day they distributed it to millions on the Play Store. It was so free, so different from the Apple world of the evil Lord Business. So for those who didn't see the movie, I need to introduce Lord Business a little bit. This guy isn't about money or power. This guy is basically afraid of chaos. He wants to have everything in order. In the original movie, this guy was gluing up all the Lego bricks so that nobody can destroy his creations, that everything stay as it is, basically killing creativity. And in 2012, he shifted his attention to the free world of Android. Yeah. So, at first, it happened in the Bertie Bott's Bitter Jelly Bean. He stole the airplane mode. This was the very beginning. First time in the history when one version of Android was less capable than the version before, because apps could no more control the airplane mode. For instance, my app is a sleep tracking app. I know exactly when the user needs airplane mode because he's sleeping and I cannot turn it on. The user needs to click. And this is exactly Lord Business's philosophy. Nothing can happen on the phone. The users need to always click somewhere. And then he kept stalling things. In KitKat, he stalled mobile data control. In Oreo, Wi-Fi in airplane mode. In Android 10, no Wi-Fi control at all. In KitKat, no external storage. Come on! What about all these file managers? What about all these file syncing apps? They were doomed for an entire version of Android. In 2018, you maybe remember this fiasco. He stalled phone and SMS permission, which killed a lot of useful concepts. For instance, my friends from the Big Launcher had big trouble with that. But then he really thought that what are all these apps doing in the background? This is chaos. This has to stop, right? I personally think that a background task or background processing is the smart in smartphone, because the phone can do something useful for you without you needing to touch the phone. Without them, the phone becomes just another browser windows, like iOS, right? Yeah. So we are basically seeing with Lord business, we are seeing that smartphones are turning into dumb phones, like the iOS. Yeah, let me just quickly recap what was background tasks in the original Android. Composed of, sorry. The alarm manager, which allows you to do some background processing at an exact moment. Background services, typically used with wake logs, so that you can keep the CPU running for a little bit longer and do something useful. And foreground services, high priority background services, which were user visible. They showed a notification in the status bar. And over the time, Lord business craggled all of them. You may remember that Kraggle was the glue, the weapon of mass destruction in the original Lego movie. He used to glue the bricks together. Yeah, and first little step was in KitKat. Suddenly, we couldn't use the alarm clock set method anymore. We had to use set exact. But then a brutal frontal assault came in Android 6 Marshmallow called Dose Mode version 1. I call it Dose Mode V1. And whenever the phone goes into sleep and it's left still, background processing got heavily restricted. Wake logs are broken unless used in foreground services, and alarms are limited to execute only every 10 minutes. This technique was meant to save battery, but in fact, in some use cases, it meant the exact opposite. For instance, sensor batching. I don't know if you know this highly battery efficient technique where you can gather sensoric data and leave the device into standby so that you consume minimal battery and still get all the data. So this was basically broken by dose mode because the sensor batching queues are not big enough to hold all your data for the 9 minutes so that you cannot get them with the alarms. And it was buggy. So actually, it was promised that foreground services, wake logs in foreground services will work, but they didn't. They were broken in Android 6. We have reported it to Diane Hegborn at the time, and she came up with some workaround at least. If you can look at the code, the workaround is that you had to put your foreground service in a separate process. In this case, it's the anti-dose process. And if you didn't have any other components in that process, then your foreground service would keep the wake log running. And then in Android 7, this was fixed, but even more destructive version of dose mode came, V2. And immediately after you turned off the screen, dose mode kicked in. Yeah, in Oreo, foreground was the new background. So we had to refactor our code. And either you could turn your background services, which were no more possible, into jobs. But then you had no guarantee over when those tasks will be executed, which is a problem for many use cases. So most people just took their background services and have rewritten them to foreground services, which are user visible. So in Oreo, you can remember all these popping up notifications everywhere. Every time an app wanted to do something, sync some data with the server, you get a notification, which was very funny for a user, right? And again, it has a big design flaw. Because, actually, I have a question, and I have some Bertie Bott's jelly beans for the one who knows the answer. Here is a minimalistic foreground service. You cannot do it more simple, because in the onCreate method, you just flag the service as foreground. And my question is, can this code fail? Can it lead to an exception? Yes. Who was that? Sorry?
I said yes, but I don't have any answer. I know the answer is yes.
I just have one back. So you are right, but I would like to hear some explanation.
If it doesn't start in 10 seconds.
5 seconds. Very nice, but I guess that's it. Can I throw it? Sure. Destiny. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody at Google thought that 5 seconds or 10 seconds in your case ought to be enough for everybody, right? But that doesn't, because in the real life, on many phones, the phone can have some other executions and something gets delayed. And in fact, just the thing that you are implemented foreground services means that you will get application not responding crashes. So using foreground services, thank you, thank you, gentleman is waving, yeah, exactly. Just implementing foreground service in your application means you will get crashes, you will have a worst vital score, and you will be lower, theoretically will be lower in the Play Store listing. Yeah. And in Pi, we got background restrictions and adaptive battery. Imagine your app is all about background processing, and somebody gives the user a button which cripples your app. Can you imagine that? Of course people will click it. It will just break your app. So we got a lot of support requests at that time, which were something like that. Hey, support, my alarm are not working. Your alarm clock is beep, useless. I want a compensation for being late at work. Pay me my salary from now on forever. And we said, why did you enable background restrictions? And he says, I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't know. I just want my alarms to work. Luckily, there is some API, so your app can check if background processing is enabled, so that you can show some bold dialog or some notification to the user. Adaptive battery is even worse, because the system can enable background restrictions without the user even knowing. And of course, the devil here is in the parameters, and so OEMs took it really badly, and they just break your app after 3 days of not using it, Samsung, for instance, and so on. Android 10. You can see that there is nothing sweet about it anymore. There is no sweet code name. Maybe even Google knows that there is nothing sweet about new versions of Android anymore, because years after years, we see a reverse evolution of Android. Every new version is less capable than its predecessors. And in Android 10, we can't start screens from the background. Sorry that I'm using examples from my apps. You would find many more in your apps, I'm sure. But in my app, it's an alarm clock. I can no more show a big, bold alarm screen in the morning with a big, bold snooze and dismiss button. I have to show a notification, right? So imagine all these elderly people waking up in the morning and looking through their status bar to dismiss the alarm. They are very, very kind to the developer, right? Android 11 shows Lord Business philosophy. Nothing can happen without the user touching something. So that's why we got permissions only while using the app. Yes. So again, for instance, my app is recognizing snoring in the night. It tells you how many minutes or hours for some you did snore. And I cannot start it because the user needs to click so that I have the permission. And location, of course. Android 12, snow cone, again. But not really sweet. Foreground services cannot be started from the background. Really big problem. Of course, there are some exceptions and you could work around, but really big problem. For me, we are trying, in my app, we want to start sleep tracking automatically for the user, like it works on fitness trackers and so on. And of course, we have a big problem when we cannot do it for the user. The user needs to click. Android 13, we don't know yet, but I'm sure it will be painful. Wait a minute, Android 13. Oh, sorry, this is the slide from the last year. Sorry about that. We know already. It is painful. It's very painful because you may be familiar with standby buckets. And the restricted is really the evil bucket when your app cannot do anything. And in Tiramisu, your application becomes in the restricted bucket after 8 days of not using it by the user. Great. And body sensors, only while using the phone. Imagine we are tracking heart rate in the night for the user, and he has to be using the phone to get the permission to do that. Great. Oh, and Android 14, we don't know yet, but I guess, you know, yeah. So to wrap up first part of our presentation, I would say that master builders or indie developers live in fear. Many of my colleagues already gave up. Every new version of Android kills some concept use cases, read apps. So, and to make it even worse, there are large businesses micromanagers raging all over the Play Store and banning even innocent apps for absolutely nonsense policy violations. So you get an email, this policy was violated, and you have no idea where. You are just talking to bots. It happened to me. I had my app Sleep as Android for 1 week from the Play Store, and I felt like a detective. Every day I searched the code. At midnight they took my app off, and I had to search the code always and try a new version, a new version, a new version. And then I found out it was some completely harmless code, 5 years old. I added the code 5 years ago, and this is why they banned my app. Till now you have heard nothing. This is all fine. The worst thing is yet to be presented. There isn't just one large business. There are multiple of them. There isn't just large business of Google. There is a large business of Samsung. There is a large business of Xiaomi. There is a large business of Huawei. And they have implemented the worst thing you can imagine, app killers. So what are app killers? Alarms won't trigger. Not even the set exact method. Not even the magical set exact and allow while idle. Not even the holy grail of all alarm clock methods, which is set alarm clock. No way. Foreground services, they are kidding me. No. Doing something for more than 10 minutes? Kill it. Wake locks, break them. Swiping apps from recents? Kill it. No alarms tomorrow. Sorry, you swipe from recents. Auto start after boot? No way. Yeah. Who is affected? If you are so lucky that your app is just another browser window, then you are fine, guys. Just relax. You can go see some other session. But if you happen to be, yeah, thank you. Another session. But if you happen to have an alarm clock, calendar, reminder app, health tracking app, no way. Automation app, overlay utilities, sound recorder, music or other content player, casting app, coaching app, messaging app, and many, many, many more use cases I don't even know about, then you are doomed. And they are whitelists. Yes, of course, if OEMs would break Facebook, their users would be very angry with them, right? But if you are indie dev, nobody cares. How do I know that they are whitelists? A Huawei guy called me one day. Could you please migrate your apps to the app gallery? And I said, of course not. You are killing my app. I hate Huawei. This is one of the worst OEMs in the ecosystem. I wouldn't do it. Oh, no problem. We won't kill your app. We'll put you on the whitelist if you migrate your app to the app gallery. Thank you very much. So why do app killers exist in the first place? I think OEMs just put these questionnaires to their customers and ask, what is the most wanted feature? What would you like to see in the new versions of our phone? And they say battery life. Of course, it's quite high on the list. And they have two options. Make phones like bricks or kill apps, of course. But I think the question is very wrongly placed. They should be asking, who wants more battery life in exchange for waking up late, missing meetings, missing messages from friends and family? I would say everybody would say, just take the battery back. I want just my phone to work, right? Yeah, and if you want to learn more about app killers, you can look at the iconic Android bug tracker issue 122098785. Everybody has it? Good. And there is something like 600 developers upvoted and 250 posts, so it's a good reading for the night. A little history of app killers. The very first app killer came in 2013 with Nokia Stamina Mode. I was really shocked at the time because OEM suddenly implemented a button which breaks apps, and there was no API, wake locks were broken, alarm did not trigger, but it was still controllable by the user. They could turn it on and turn it off, but it opened an Andorra box, and other OEMs did caught up and brought their own app killers. And it all culminated in 2018 when Nokia, the true one OEM which was told to bring the balance to the Android ecosystem, right? The one OEM who was told to bring the pure Android experience with Android One. And they implemented the worst app killer ever. This was something like a stuck in the back, really, for me, at least. So they implemented Evenwell Power Saver, which kills everything after 15 minutes of running. There is no API, no user options, everything by default on, and even on Android One. The only solution for users, Android Debug Bridge. You know that it's no problem to use Android Debug Bridge for every Android user, of course. So this was really the last drop for us, and we created La Resistance, or Don't Kill My App if you want. By the way, Emmet has a piece of resistance on his back to save the world from the Kragel glue. Yeah, and this is what we are trying to do. Nothing less than making smartphones smart again. We want to educate users, because usually the user comes and say, hey, lazy dev, fix your app, it's not working. And you really need to explain, oh, sorry, it's your OEM, he's killing my app, I cannot do anything with it. Here is a guide, just read it. We want to create pressure on OEMs, because what we really think is that Android open source projects over time is really 3 times more than what we need in terms of background process restrictions, and there's absolutely no need to put anything more like app killers. We want to reduce support. In one point in time, I realized that half of my work as an indie dev is just supporting people with app killer problems. This couldn't continue because, you know, I cannot innovate. I cannot create new apps. I'm just supporting people because OEMs are killing apps. So I wanted to centralize effort, somehow share this workload with other devs, with you, hopefully, and of course also set a benchmark so that we can advise users which OEMs they should avoid if they want their apps to work. Everything is open source. There is a community. So basically, Don't Kill My App is a community-based instruction manual to protect your apps against app killers. There is a top chart, so you can see who are the worst OEMs. If you click on one OEM, on every page you see some background story, solution for user, which is usually screenshots, where they should click to make things running, and a solution for developers. For instance, on Huawei, if you name your wake lock audio mix, why not? Location manager service, suddenly your wake lock won't get broken. So this is how solution for developers look like. You have a JSON API, so you can integrate in your app. Just ask for the guide for the actual user for his device. You can ask what he shall do. Or if you want something even more easier, there is a Docker library. Thank you very much, Double.Labs, which is basically a ready-to-use activity and ready-to-use dialog, which you can just integrate into your app and advise users. Yeah. Who is high on the list? Huawei, of course, number 3 at the moment. Power Genie and hardware power services kills everything after 60 minutes, enabled by default. OnePlus, another OEM which was told to bring pure Android experience. Yeah, but actually, we don't know why, but some of their phones work perfectly, but many of them have app killers. We thought that those are maybe devices intended for the Western and Eastern market, but it didn't prove correct, so we don't know. Something works, but mostly we see a lot of troubles on OnePlus. And of course, Samsung. We have seen something like a Chimera process, which is killing foreground services Android 11. We don't know where it is deployed at the moment. Chimera, such a hideous name, right? Yeah. But what's really wrong with Samsung, they really misunderstood the adaptive battery concept. So the user just gets a tiny notification, something like app slated for deep sleep, no problem. And the user clicks clear, of course. But if he would like to keep his apps running, he would need to tap that notification, check all these apps, and tap to remove, right? Nobody will do that. So after Samsung implemented it, we got a lot of users complaining, hey, support, I used your alarm clock for 5 years. Everything was running great, but suddenly your alarm just stopped working. Fix your bugs. And luckily, we could say, don't kill my app/com/Samsung. And this is the only thing you need to say to users these days, because they just say, thank you, it works. Or, of course, 90% of these people just uninstall your app. Our achievements. We got some press attention. Thank you guys from Android Police, Android Central, Android Authority, XDR developers, many thanks for helping us educate users. We have seen some exponential growth. I know exponential growth isn't popular these days because of some infections, but we are quite proud about it. So this year, last year we had 16 million visits in total. This year we have 32 million visits, 50,000 people every day. Rumors says we got quite some attention in the Android team, that they are using Don't Kill My App projects for monitoring fragmentation of Android. And DKMA is the new RTFM, if you know what I mean. Yeah, read the fucking manual. And we have thousands of cases which are exactly like this. Hey, support, my alarms are not working. Your alarm clock is beep, useless. I want compensation. And we say, don't kill my app/Huawei. And he says, thank you. I won't be buying a Huawei phone ever again. And this is really satisfaction. One of our biggest achievements, the Death Star is dead. In 2018, Nokia did uninstall all their Evenwell software from all their phones. So Nokia is really now one of our recommended OEMs. We don't know if we have been maybe just a little X-Wing targeting the right spot, right? Or maybe a Millennium Falcon in this, I don't know. I would like to think that. But the true thing, the main thing is that Evenwell is gone and Android is a better place without it. And in 2020, we have created Don't Kill My App, app. So it's an app which benchmarks your phone. You can do changes in your settings, you get all the guides in the app, and then you can test if it is working better. So a typical screen from a Pixel phone, 100%, and a typical screen from Huawei. And how it works, we create a foreground service, test with wake logs, schedule alarms every 10 minutes so we get into the dose mode limit. And then we calculate expected versus performed to calculate the score. And in 2022, we got some attention from the Android team again. And they asked us, could you guys contribute Don't Kill My App benchmark into the Android source code? And we say yes. Into the CTS module. So CTS means compatibility test suite. It's a free commercial grade test suite. It's a mechanism for compatibility by Google. You can run it on a desktop or you can have it part of your continuous integration or whatever. But it tests actually divergences from the CCD compatibility divergence documents and API docs. So it's a tool for OEMs to test when they do some changes, if they are still compliant. It took us 1 year to get through some review process, and I won't comment on that. You can read more in the Garrett issue 1890987. I hope you got it. And that's it. And it's called actually, it's not part directly of the main CTS, but they created something called developer-powered CTS. And the difference is that our developer-powered CTS is not mandatory, fortunately, for OEMs. And I think this is really the right moment for you guys to use this URL you see on the screen and write a test proposal. If you see something is not working well on some OEM for your app, please write a test proposal. Please ideally also develop a CTS test, and please go through the review process, because we really need more CTSD tests to show Google that this is really important, and maybe we will achieve a mandatory status for those tests in the future. So that's basically how you can help. Of course, we are also very grateful for any contributions to the Don't Kill My App website. If you know more tricks how to make apps running on different OEMs, it's open source, so you can create pull requests. And of course, if you just spread the word, then we are very happy about that. That's it. Thank you very much. We have a song, right? So. And I need you to sing, so so please don't leave. You can, if you can't sing like me, you can at least wave your hands. I will go farther from
Everything's not awesome.
You have text.
Everything's not cool when they kill your apps. Everything's not awesome. Whoa, I think I shall retreat from the store perhaps. What's the point? There's no hope. Awesomeness was an Android by dream. It was so free, but we're way past the days of the ice cream. Everything's not awesome, but it doesn't mean that it's hopeless and bleak. Everything's not awesome, but in my heart I believe we can make things better if we fight together. Side by side, you and I, we will build it together. Build it together.
All developers!
I just came here to say don't kill my. I just came here to say don't kill my. I just came here to say don't kill my app.
The next one will be better, right? Because you aren't singing.
Everything's not awesome. Things can be awesome all the time. Random mashups don't run. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try to make everything awesome in less fragmented kind of way. What about some standards? Predictability would be great. We can make things better if we fight together. Side by side, you and I, we will build it together. Build it together.
All developers!
I just came here to say don't kill my. I just came here to say don't kill my. I just came here to say don't kill my app.
Thank you!